In a small town just outside Atlanta, 10-year-old Malik Johnson had a unique passion. While most kids spent their afternoons glued to video games or television, Malik preferred to sit at the kitchen table with tubs of colorful modeling clay. His imagination was his escape, a place where anything was possible, even if money was tight and the world outside sometimes felt overwhelming. Malik's mother, Chandra, worked long hours at a local diner but always encouraged her son's creativity. "You make magic out of anything," she'd say, watching him sculpt superheroes, cars, and sometimes tiny versions of his favorite albums. Malik's father, who had once dreamed of being a musician himself, had left when Malik was young, but the love of music stayed in the house, often playing in the background as Malik created. One afternoon, as rain tapped gently on the windows, Malik decided to make something special. He pulled out his worn copy of Snoop Dogg's iconic album, Doggy Style, a CD his mom said was a classic. Inspired by the bold cover, Malik spent hours carefully shaping tiny details with his clay, Snoop's cartoon image, the bold lettering, and even the blue background. When Chandra saw the finished replica, she was stunned. "That's amazing, baby," she exclaimed. Malik grinned, proud to see her so excited. She snapped a picture and posted it online, tagging Snoop Dogg's official account with the caption, "My son made this out of clay. Big fans over here." Malik didn't think much about it. He went back to his other creations, never expecting that the little clay album would be noticed beyond his home. But within hours, Chandra's post began gathering likes and comments. Friends and strangers alike were impressed by Malik's talent and attention to detail. Several people tagged Snoop Dogg, hoping he'd see the tribute. A few days later, Chandra got a message from Snoop's team. "We saw Malik's art and want to send him something special. Would you be open to a video call?" Chandra was floored. She waited until Malik got home from school to tell him the news. Malik couldn't believe it. He clutched the clay album to his chest, asking, "You think he really saw it, Mom?" Chandra hugged him close. "I think he did, sweetheart. And I think he wants to meet you." That evening, Malik could barely eat dinner, buzzing with nerves and excitement. He lined up his best creations on the kitchen table, determined to show Snoop Dogg that his tribute was made with real love. As the call approached, Malik realized that sometimes dreams come true when you least expect it, especially when you put your heart into what you love. The next afternoon, Malik sat nervously at the kitchen table, his clay sculptures arranged in perfect rows. Chandra set up the laptop, her hands shaking almost as much as her son's. When the call connected, Malik gasped. There, smiling from a sunlit studio in Los Angeles, was Snoop Dogg himself. "Yo, what's up, young artist?" Snoop greeted, flashing his trademark grin. "Heard you made something real special." Malik stammered a hello, barely able to believe his eyes. Snoop asked to see the famous clay album, and Malik held it up to the camera. Snoop was genuinely impressed. "Man, you got skills. That's one of the dopest things I've ever seen," he said. Malik's pride soared as Snoop asked questions about how he made it, what other art he liked to do, and which songs were his favorites. For nearly half an hour, Snoop chatted with Malik and Chandra, sharing stories from his own childhood. He talked about the times when he made music just for fun, and how important it was to keep believing in yourself even when things were hard. Chandra watched, tears in her eyes. For her son, who sometimes struggled with shyness and self-doubt, this was more than a celebrity moment. It was proof that talent and passion really could be recognized. Before ending the call, Snoop promised a special surprise. "You keep making your art, little homie. I got something coming your way." Malik's eyes widened in wonder, but Snoop wouldn't say more. After the call, Malik became a local celebrity. Teachers at school congratulated him, and friends asked for custom clay figures. He started a small project, sculpting mini albums for his classmates, always remembering the encouragement he'd received from Snoop. Chandra kept a close eye on the mailbox, curious about what Snoop might send. But for Malik, the memory of the call was already enough, a validation that his art mattered. Days passed, and anticipation grew. Malik woke up early each morning, peeking outside to see if a package had arrived. Finally, one Saturday morning, a delivery truck pulled up. What happened next would turn Malik's world upside down. The delivery driver wheeled a large box to the front door, a label with Snoop Dogg's foundation stamped on the side. Malik could hardly breathe as he helped his mom bring it inside. They opened it together, surrounded by curious neighbors who'd heard about Malik's online fame. Inside was more than Malik could have dreamed. Professional art supplies, sketchbooks, paints, high-end modeling clay, and even a tablet for digital drawing. At the top of the box was a letter written on gold-embossed stationery. Malik read aloud. "Yo Malik, keep shining and creating. The world needs your art. Can't wait to see what you do next. Much love, Uncle Snoop." At the bottom of the box, hidden in a velvet pouch, was a VIP pass to Snoop Dogg's upcoming concert in Atlanta, along with 2 backstage passes. Chandra burst into tears, hugging her son as neighbors cheered and snapped photos. The story quickly spread beyond their town. Local news ran a segment on Malik's talent and Snoop's generosity, and people from all over sent messages of support. Some even commissioned Malik to make custom art, giving him the confidence to dream even bigger. The concert day arrived, and Malik dressed in his best outfit, clutching his clay album carefully in a gift bag. Chandra wore her brightest smile, proud to be by her son's side. Backstage, Snoop greeted Malik like family, introducing him to the crew and even letting him watch soundcheck from the wings. He encouraged Malik to hand out some of his clay creations to the band and backup singers who loved the tiny works of art. Before the show, Snoop brought Malik on stage and told the crowd his story. Thousands of fans cheered as Malik waved, his heart nearly bursting with joy. The concert was unforgettable: music, lights, and the warmth of knowing he belonged. After the concert, Snoop Dogg and his team sat down with Malik and Chandra, talking about the importance of art, family, and giving back. Snoop explained that he wanted to support Malik's journey, inviting him to join a special mentorship program for young artists. The program offered workshops, art shows, and opportunities to collaborate with musicians, visual artists, and mentors from across the country. Malik's confidence blossomed. He found new friends, shared his ideas, and learned skills that would stay with him for life. Back home, Malik's story inspired his classmates and teachers. The school started an art club, encouraging kids to try new creative projects. Chandra volunteered as a club organizer, proud to see her son helping others find their voice. Malik continued to send Snoop updates, photos of new sculptures, sketches of album covers, and stories about his adventures. Snoop always replied with a word of encouragement or a shout-out on social media, reminding Malik to keep hustling and keep his heart open. Malik's clay album found a permanent place in Snoop's recording studio, displayed alongside platinum records and awards. Whenever visitors asked about it, Snoop would say, "That's from my little homie in Atlanta," proof that inspiration comes in all shapes and colors. The mentorship program led Malik to his first art exhibition, where his pieces sold out on opening night. He used part of the proceeds to donate art supplies to local schools, wanting other kids to feel the same spark he'd felt when Snoop noticed him. Years later, Malik looked back on that rainy afternoon at the kitchen table and smiled. One small act of creativity, shared with the world, had changed his life and the lives of those around him. Through every new challenge, he remembered Snoop's advice: be real, be kind, and always make art from the heart. And in homes, classrooms, and studios across the city, Malik's story was told, reminding everyone that sometimes the smallest creations can spark the biggest dreams.